All right. We've got time going. Hopefully we're working. Somebody in the comments section let me know. Are we live? Oh, I hear Stubby Dog. I forgot to close the door. You want to tell these nice people hi? Come here. Come on.
Oh, Stubbers.
Old Mr. Stubbs.
Come on. You're just going to sit down next to me and go to sleep? You're
Hey,
always
he
so
didn't-
full of energy.
He didn't get them bunnies, did he?
Nope, you didn't get the bunnies. There you are. See, you look, you're famous now.
There we go.
All 10 people watching know you. All right, well, what's happening, Fish and Friends? I think we are live. I think it's working. I don't see any. Oh, there we go. Fishing with Gramps. Already in the house. Fishing with Gramps. Thanks for joining and supporting. What is happening, Fish and Friends? I'm excited. We have the return of Dizzle. Dizzle, glad to have you back.
Yeah, thanks, man. Glad to be back.
You're like the star of the show, Dizzle.
See,
I wouldn't go that far.
You are. That's what I said. Somebody left the comment that said, when you watch DEBO'S fishing and you're a kid and you think DEBO'S the hero, then you grow up and actually figure out Randy's the hero. I'm like, dude, it's totally true.
Yeah.
Got my guy Nick, Fat Boy Fishing. He's always in supporting. Talk about him. He's a good guy. I'm happy to have you on, my friend.
I'm happy to be on.
Heck yeah, man, it's awesome. You got a lot of good commentary. You got a lot of good comments and ideas and different things that it's always good to learn, man. You got to bounce stuff off different people, and growing's knowledge is power.
Yep.
That was the
Knowledge
star
is
that goes
power.
across.
TJ Ellis, I see already throwing out the Tequila Sunrise to win. Well, TJ, I will have a giveaway tonight. I tried to get Fat Boy to throw in some stuff for the giveaway, but he was too stingy and wouldn't give anything. I'm kidding. He offered. I will do a giveaway. He offered. He makes his own jigs. He actually was doing jigs and all that before me. I picked his brain. He was nice enough to help me with the jig making process. There was a few folks that were nice enough to give me information when I was getting into it. So I thank you for that, Nick.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
But he offered. I said, no, dude. I said, you're a guest on the show. You're just here to have fun and do commentary and talk. I will take care of the giveaway. I didn't have anything planned. I actually just got back from fishing and getting supper. So I don't know. I'll put together an envelope and just throw random stuff in. Whoever wins, we'll do some sort of random pick here toward the end. And then I'll kind of ask you, as long as you have Instagram, you can just message me what your address is. And then if there's some things you've been wanting to try or whatever type of fishing you do, I'll try to tailor a package specifically for you.
You didn't get soaked?
No, dude, it just barely dodged me.
Did you catch him?
It downpoured.
I caught 15 tonight, all on a black buzzbait. Nothing big. I think 1.5 pound was my biggest tonight, but
Never caught a fish.
really, never a fish on a buzzbait.
Huh?
See, that's crazy. So that's what's going to be fun about having all three of us. We all have different styles.
Yeah.
The fun thing is going to be is we're all pretty close. So Nick is up in Wisconsin, about I think 6 hours north of us. Of course, Randy and I live relatively close. He's about an hour north of me. But all of us fish a little bit different. That's the cool part of fishing is certain people have certain strengths and certain lures they're really confident with and certain lures they throw all the time. You can kind of pick each other's, fishing brains. Like, Randy, I flipped a jig and swam a jig a ton. I had a lot of confidence in that, but I was never really like a round finesse jig and rocks. And that dude has kicked my butt. I can't tell you how many times throwing a jig that way. So
DEBO is the frog guru, Shammy Sham Wow, Mr. I catch frogs all the time.
I did have to make fun of you a little bit when you missed our last live about how I caught, I don't know, like my 5th frog fish in a row, and you were down there and you screamed and threw your rod after you missed your 13th frog fish.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit later, but I think I'm currently at 0-48 on frogfish since I guess I posted something on Instagram. I don't know if it was, I think the smallmouth I caught on a frog was the last Topwater frogfish I caught, which I've never done that before.
Yeah,
and
how strange.
Then,
a big frog.
Yeah. We'll talk about it here in a minute.
Okay, we'll get to it. Let's see if we got any questions coming in. I see my guy Tackle Junkie's in here. Awesome guy. Jim is a great dude. Always supports me and my channel. Jim, I hope you are well.
DJ.
Chris Russ, another Iowa guy. Couldn't get any topwater going. Nothing moving either. Slow dragging a craw was the only thing getting bit. Sounds like he took a page out of Nick's book. Nick's going to talk about what's been working for him. Let's see. We'll get to some more questions. So Nick, tell us about you. What's your fishing story in a 30-second elevator speech?
Used to fish a lot when I was a kid. My mom used to drop me off before she went to work at a lake just down the road, and she'd pick me up after 8 hours later. I just walked the banks back and forth.
Damn, that's awesome.
Used to ride my bike once I got older, and then it's like right when I got my license, I just pretty much quit fishing. Had other hoodlum stuff to do, and I got a job about 6 years ago, and I met a buddy of mine who got me back into it, and I pretty deep into it. I mean, it wasn't casual anymore. Now I just can't live with it. It's just unreal. He saved my life and did not save my bank account at the same time.
It never does.
Yeah, that is 100% the truth, dude. 100%. Let's see. I did see a good question about, where was it? Somebody was asking about Travis. Where did your question go? I think it was Travis that asked the question. Oh, my guy Tim's always fishing in here too. Another good supporter of my channel. Good guy. Hellabass is in here. He also has a YouTube channel. Make sure you check out Tackle Junkie and Hellabass. Both guys in here. Thanks for joining, fellas. Here.
Is Hellabass, is that Rich? Or am I thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Rich Lindgren.
And Bama Bass mixed up. I don't know why.
I think, isn't Bama Bass the big frog guy down in Alabama?
Yeah,
Right?
he had
That
that
would make sense.
reeling that frog in.
Huh?
Is he the
Had
the dangler?
Yeah, he's the frog dangler guy.
Yeah. I get him mixed up. But anyway, sorry.
Anyway, okay, so Travis, I saw this one and I thought, dude, this is a perfect time to talk about this. We can all three attack it. So I'll try to get to all the questions I can. It's hard when questions are just rolling through the chat. So if you have something really important you want me to see, throw a donation out there. It doesn't have to be, 99 cents or whatever. I don't, beg for donations, but anybody that does, I try to get to every single one of those. It's important to me, and I appreciate it a lot because it goes right back into the channel, paying for giveaway postage and other fun things. So, Travis, how do you fish around the slimy grass on the bottom of lakes, ponds, whatever it is you're fishing? Randall, when you got that snotty, grassy, slimy, algae stuff, how do you attack those lakes or ponds?
I can tell you this. I'm going to set my jig down. I'm going to set the jig rod down completely, and I'm going to go something weightless like a Cinco, or I've actually been throwing a fluke a little bit this year. Just something that's going to just kind of slowly back and forth down. And even if you get down into it, you're going to pick up some gunk regardless, but you're not going to pick up as much. So that's usually what I'm doing. Or if I'm going to throw some sort of jig, it's going to be a swim jig. And if I can feel that slimy, gross stuff on the bottom, I'll try to barely tick it to kind of kick some stuff up to show a little bit of, extra action on there.
I agree. Nick, how about you?
I go to a different lake. Same as Dizzle. I'll try to throw something weightless, something that takes a little bit longer maybe to get to the bottom. Give them a chance, because I hate peeling that slime off.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you normally see that stuff in the cleaner, clearer lakes where you fish?
I do.
Randall?
Yeah, primarily. I would assume so, but I'm just trying to think back. I know there's one that we go to that's usually pretty clear that's gross on the bottom. Well, it's not necessary. I don't know if it's the clarity or if it's what the bottom is.
So generally, yeah, it's kind of twofold. So generally you're going to see that issue in cleaner, clearer lakes because the sunlight can get down through. And if it's some sort of aquatic vegetation, it needs some sort of sunlight to grow, right? Most of them. So those sort of lakes, anytime you can get one of those lakes that has that snotty, slimy stuff, try to find any spot in that lake that's dirtier, muddier water that stays that way. And there's a good chance it's not going to have that slimy stuff. Now there's some ponds around here that I have it all the time, even if it's got a little bit of sting to it. But there's a lake I specifically fish that the backside of it where there's a creek channel that comes in, and it hasn't been as of lately. Actually, that lake, now that I think about it, doesn't have any slime. I don't know why, because we haven't had any rain. But anyway, I was going to say it has a creek channel coming into it. The creek channel turns up water. It's usually muddier over on that side. I think there's less trees. So there's less stuff to block the wind as well. So it turns up that water more. Anytime you've got rain, wind that hits a certain part, it's going to turn that up, and it's going to usually be a different water clarity. So I would say look for those spots. And then, yeah, I would just try to stay out of it because, I mean, most of the time you're not going to find the fish just laying in that stuff. If you can find like holes in it, try to attack those holes. But I mean, I would throw what they've thrown: swim jig, weightless, fluke, or
when in doubt, take the spinnerbait out.
Hey, I'm never mad at that.
Oh.
I mean, my only other thing is to make sure that you got a good pair of sunglasses, good pair of polarized glasses, so you can see those holes. The majority of the time, you should be able to see a hole or a pocket or something that looks a little bit different that you can pitch at. But I remember days at this other lake that Debo and I go to that you could see grass coming up, but you really couldn't see the holes to pitch at. And I was like almost ready to put down the jig rod, but I didn't because I put my glasses on. It was actually overcast. And I saw those holes and started pitching into those, and it just jig got destroyed in there.
Find the holes. Let's see. Oh, we got my guy Philip in here too. Another huge supporter. My guy Ray. Ray with the donation. What's your guys' favorite topwater excluding frogs?
I like a Berkeley. I don't know if it's I think it's the Jaywalker. They have a Jaywalker and a cane walker. The cane walker is going. The Jaywalker. It's probably like 5.5 inches.
Yep, that's just the regular stick bait, right?
Yeah.
The cane walker is the one with the cupped mouth that looks like a
the back
gunfish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I like the Jaywalker. I don't use them much though. Maybe 5 times a year.
Really? But is frog your favorite or no?
Yeah, frog's my favorite.
Okay, that's what I thought. Randall, how about you?
What I know, I'm no good at names. I don't know what names are. It's the one that's got the thing on it where it bends and it goes,
A whopper plopper.
No, I'm just messing with you. I actually had a lot of good luck. I think it's a Strike King buzzbait. I think it's a buzz frog though. It has no skirt on it, and it's just the frog on the back that has the extra little tails that kick as well. I've actually pulled skirts off of a couple of different ones just to have another version of it, like a different color, something like that. But just throw like a rage toad or something like that on there and run that through the close to the muck and such. So
the muck and such. I like it. Yeah, for me, Ray, I'd probably say a whopper plopper or some sort of ploppy. They just catch fish. You can cover a bunch of water with them. Lately this year, I've made it more of a point to throw the buzzbait. And actually, I kind of joined what you're talking about, Randall, the best of both worlds today. I don't know if I have a good enough picture. This is what I was catching them on today. A buzzbait with, hold on. I just learned this.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. Yeah. Solo layout. A buzzbait with.
Can you go sideways?
A dang grub on it.
Yeah, it's the Z-Man goat on back.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like a big rage menace type deal. But kind of the best of both worlds. That worked well for me. But yeah, I'd say the old whopper plopper, cast and wine, and fish seemed to crush it.
We had that dominant season where whopper ploppers were like the end all be all. And then it seems like I don't get it. It's like dominated every single time you threw it, and then next season it's like kind of not as much, and then it was either last season or this season. I don't know as if I've caught anything on a whopper plopper.
Yep, goes in cycles, dude. Always happens. Crazy. Randall Pink Floyd said donations go straight to buying Randizzle's TV dinner funds.
I'm down with that.
Okay,
I like TV dinners. Travis with the donation simply said, thanks for the great advice. That was Travis's question that we answered before. Travis, thanks for the donation. That's nice. Yeah. Eric says, keep it gangsta, fellas. TV dinner on me, Dizzle. Yes. Okay, here's a question. What's your favorite TV dinner ever?
Dude, Salisbury steak.
What was that, with mashed potatoes?
Honestly, yes.
Just a classic.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't a TV dinner. Go ahead.
You can't go wrong with really any of those. That was like my go-to for lunch at work. It was like grab one of those, like an actual TV dinner, or like one of those bowls that you just it steams the rice that's above and the sauce is down below.
Oh yeah, like a lean cuisine bowl or whatever.
Oh man,
dude,
but Salisbury for win.
Salisbury?
I haven't heard it called TV dinner in probably 10 years.
Oh yeah, man. Stubby, what was your favorite TV dinner? Mine actually wasn't a TV dinner. It was those banquet like dollar pot pies. I'd always have two of those chicken pot pies. Oh my gosh, dude! And you had to break up the crust and put the crust in it and mix it all up in the little tin and eat it.
I had one of those once, and I wasn't feeling very good after that.
Really?
Yeah, but it was 7, so I can imagine that. I can't eat them.
Dang, dude, I lived off those. My guy Brando in the house. Brando, what's happening, dude? My brother Martin. Martin, how are you, my friend? Let's see. I did see another good question. There was buzz toads, big worms. I think somebody asked a question about.
Wait, let me just jump in there real quick. I also forgot just like a flat out like rage toad, like a rage toad on an EWG hook.
Like
weightless,
a soft plastic. Yep.
Yeah, man, those things they used to get destroyed when I used them. I'd go through a pack and a half a day, just blow up after blow up all day long.
Let's see. Where are we at for questions? Somebody else asked a question on worms. What was your favorite big worm, or do you have a big worm that?
I know Debo loves the big worms. I'm scared of them. I don't really go anywhere near them.
I used to throw, so like my old man used to always throw the 8-inch power worm, and I always thought that looked like a big worm. And then like the more I got into fishing, I'm like, oh, this isn't that big. And 10-inch worm is kind of like my go-to. I feel like that's I still feel like it's kind of a big worm, but that's like my go-to when I tie on a worm, like a 10-inch worm for the summer.
Have you seen the super ridiculous, like 18-inch or 2-foot worms that they have?
Somebody sent me, are they 11-inch man's worms? Stubby, where are those worms? Go get those worms. Some big, huge man jelly worms. What's that?
You stole that big worm from the bank? Or
yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, for sure.
Anytime I've attempted, it's been off like a jetty where I have a little bit more access. But again, I'm a smaller lure type of guy, just in general, so.
Yeah, I'll throw like an 8-inch worm every once in a while, but not bigger than that.
Yeah, for me, I'm just flipping a pitch into like, dock pilings, wood, submerged wood, bushes, anything like that, just like I would a creature bait, or it just, for whatever reason, like summer, I don't know. Summer is just like big worm time. I've heard people say it's like having a big, huge pizza being drug in front of you and you're a fish, you're more apt to go grab that than, if I was bouncing a little tiny Ned rig and, fish can get, they say a little bit more lethargic.
Right.
But I don't know. To me, I think if they're in the mood and they're hungry, they're going to nab whatever. But I think they're probably drawn more toward that big meal. So it makes sense. And that was Brando that asked the question. Brando, hope you're well, dude. My question about the big worm, what's your guys' favorite color? Yeah, tequila sunrise because of my old man. But I would say just like a green pumpkin is honestly my favorite color. Just regular green pumpkin.
I'm a watermelon green pumpkin candy guy.
I'm gonna go tequila sunrise with Debo. Like I threw that back in the day, just like Debo's dad, and I don't know what it is about it. Like I've never seen anything like that swimming around in the water, but it.
What was that, Nick?
I said I don't really know if the extra flake in there makes a difference in that green pumpkin, but it's got to have the candy for me, I guess.
Dude, that's a good point because like I never used to really pay attention to flake, but on a sunnier day when you have pretty clean water, I remember specifically this year when I was out throwing that Wacky rigged 48 missile baits, watermelon red flake specifically, just because I had been thinking about it, like, oh, I never throw watermelon red flake. Throwing that out and dude, when there's a little bit of sun, that red is like extremely dominant. And I said it in the video, like, wow, you can really see that red flake. Yeah. So I don't know how big of a difference it makes for a bite, but
yeah, we could go down a wormhole on colors.
Oh, dude, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. Harry asked, is the beard required to join this chat? I don't know. Nick's the beard king. He has the right of way here.
I don't know what to say. It don't matter.
Just real quick sidebar question. Do you use product or no? No product?
Oh, like
I I have to because I get flyaways like crazy, and it's just unruly if I don't.
If it's short enough, it looks like crap, so I just let it grow, and then it starts to look okay. But no, stuff to get on. I'm like,
Nah.
I just get.
Okay, let's see. Let's get to some more questions. Okay, so let's talk about what's been working for us, fellas. So I've seen a few people talk about what do we do in the really hot weather? What do you guys do for summer? So Nick, I know we were talking a little bit before about some baits and stuff before we went live. What's been working for you up there in Wisconsin?
Well, right now, last few times I've been out, I've been throwing just a 2-aught hook and just a little cross that rattling trunk, and I don't know, it's been hammering them. Like, I never thought.
Is that Okeechobee? Is that an Okeechobee color? It looks like.
Nope, that's the blue baby, green pumpkin with the blue.
Gotcha.
Oh, here, hold on. Boom.
Oh, there we go.
So the Googie Rattling Ned in baby blue.
The Rattling Craw. Get it right.
Sorry. My bad.
And it's got the I just throw a 3/16 ounce weight on it. And dude, it's been going. So
3/16 ounce tungsten, and it was funny because we were talking before that you pretty much always peg yours no matter what, right?
Yep. Yeah, she's pegged too. So
always peg. That's the debate. Like, I get that question a lot, and a lot of the times I don't think it matters, but like I try to go unpegged if I can get away with it, which just means you don't have the little bobber stop in front of your weight. So the weight falls down and then your plastic and hook kind of falls down after it. I feel like it gives it a more natural kind of gliding rundown. But we were talking before, when I first really got into the Texas rig game, when I was trying to keep up with my old man, it was like necessity. I had to keep it pegged. Like I didn't want to get snagged. And now I've kind of gone back the other way where if I don't feel like I'm going to be getting snagged, like in the real brushy, like fingery stuff, if it's just like a big log here and there, I don't peg it, or just like the stand-up-y grass, I don't peg it.
I think unpegging it looks a lot more natural to the fish. I really think the pegging it is just, for me personally, it's less of a headache, I guess. But I mean, like one of my buddies, I don't even think he has peg stop, So yeah. But I do think it looks more natural when it's unpegged.
But see, then you get into the what would it be, conversation of, if there's a fish on a brush pile and you flip it to that fish pegged or unpegged, is it going to matter? Do you think that fish is going to eat it? And most of the time I would say, I don't think it's going to matter. Like,
I don't think so.
If I would say accuracy over peg versus no peg, I guess is what 100%. I'm going for.
For sure.
If you can put that bait exactly where you want it.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I know we talked a little bit earlier, and I also said, like, when I first started, and I'm talking, this was 15 years ago when I first got back into fishing. I kind of did the fish when I was younger, got my license, didn't fish for a few years, and kind of got back into it, and slowly, and then DEBO just really kicked me in the leg, and now I'm totally addicted. But I used to use a swivel, so I'd cut off a leader, maybe 2 foot, tie my knots, and at the end of the day it was 18 inches or so, and I would have my weight. It probably wasn't tungsten back then, it was probably a lead head, but just my little egg or my bullet weight sliding back and forth in between my hook and my swivel. And I caught so many fish like that. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before, is it's fun to get different people's point of view on this stuff, because there's not a right way to fish, right? I can tell you the way I do it, and I'm never going to tell somebody you're doing it wrong unless they've got the spinning rod upside down. I'll tell you that's wrong. But pretty much anything else is a lot of it's going to be just your preference, So
so many things that work for other people and don't work for somebody else. It's crazy to hear about.
Yep.
But
Randall, what about you? What's been the big breadwinner for you this year?
I first of all got to say, I do have a buddy that uses his spinning rod on a bait casting reel, and it drives me insane, even though I've told him 1,000 times, don't do that. You're wrong. It's wrong. Stop doing that. Doesn't listen anyway. This year, realistically, if you guys remember back to the last live that I was on, unfortunately I broke the tip off my jig rod. Moment of silence.
Let's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, since that, I threw my jig reel on another rod, same basically, qualifications or specs, I should say, but it's not the same. I'm not confident in it, and I feel like I'm just gonna snap it in half. So I've gone with pretty much either a fluke, a bladed jig, or Texas rig. For whatever reason, I just started throwing a Texas rig this year, either a Stenko, like stick bait, or some kind of creature bait, whether it be a craw or trench hog, like, more creature bait like that, long appendages and things.
Do you
I like it?
Like, for example, last year I couldn't put a spinnerbait down. Now this year, I don't really, and the year before that I couldn't put a swim jig down.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think it's more confidence?
I think it's
because you throw that swim jig more. Oh, that's what's working for me. Or all I do is throw a spinnerbait, and that's what's working for me. So I'm not going to change.
It's really 6 of one and half dozen of another. You're gonna throw bait, and if it gets bit, you're gonna get that confidence to throw that one more often. And you don't know, like, another bait could just be 12 times more dynamite than what that one is, and that's what my problem is. And I've kind of told Debo, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna take less and less stuff with me when I go fishing, because, like, a while back I have 12 rods in my truck, a 30-gallon tote full of plastics and lures and all this stuff, and I just feel like I'm not going to give any one lure enough time to catch fish on it versus, taking less stuff and actually using it like I should be.
Yeah,
it's funny. We're not ignoring you, Nick, but whenever Dizzle talks and you try to talk, you're muted. Like, yeah, it's weird.
Huh? Are
you messing with me there? Were you literally not talking, just moving your lips?
Talking.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
So what'd you say? Did you say, do you have your 30-gallon in that piece of crap Chevy?
I said, pair of scissors in there?
I have 4 pairs of scissors in there.
So
2
handy,
in the door,
dude.
2 in the door, 1 in the bottom of the tote amongst all of the open treble hooks, and the 4th, I don't know where the 4th one is. I think it's in my bag.
So handy.
So, in an old video, you guys, like from last year, and his little casted and his rod tip hit the tree, and the tip broke, and it's just, and all of a sudden Devo goes, "Turn that frown upside down," and I lost it. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I think that was the day. I think that was the day that you were already being pissy anyway. You were pissy the whole day, and then that happened. It was just like you could just see it in his eyes, like he was on the verge, and I'm like, turn that frown upside down.
I think probably the best one to go back and watch, just if anybody's keeping score, it's actually me in the thumbnail holding a pretty big post-spawn bass that Debo tried throwing a swim bait at 87 times.
Oh, gosh.
And couldn't catch it, even though I told him to throw a jig at it, and I threw a jig at it and caught it, like, second try. I don't remember what I said, but it was so funny. Do you remember what I said to you at the end?
No, I don't, but I think that was the day that I took the camera off and I gave it to you, because I'm like, you're the only one catching fish. You might as well wear the camera. And I was all pissed off and pouting.
No, that was a different day. That was a good video too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. Let's get to some questions. Dylan, I saw Dylan saying, "No, somebody help answer my question." Dylan, we're going to get to it. And this is actually a perfect segue because this is one of the things that's been working well for me. Frog, actually just recently, the beginning of the year, frog kind of sucked, like when I thought it should have been froggy. I would say the number one fish catcher this year for me, Wacky rig, for sure. Wacky rig. Okay, so Dylan says, what time of day do you throw frogs? Do you throw them during summer? I have yet to catch one of my many frog baits I have, but I have had topwater hits. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so the first thing, Dylan, is with frog fishing, like whether it's, I've heard everything from fish come up and try to tail slap it and stun it to, like, I've literally seen pike come up, like I'll watch my frog go by and I'll see the pike come up and be like 2 seconds late, like, is this pike blind? Like, what in the hell? And sometimes it's just small fish that hit it pretty good and just don't get it in their mouth. Like frog fishing, you're going to miss fish. Like, I don't care who you are. Ask anybody that frog fishes a lot. You're going to have blowups and miss fish. So the big thing I'd say for that is if you're missing fish and you have a way to follow up, keep like a Wacky rig or a Texas rig stick bait or like an actual weighted Texas rig like Nick was showing, anything like that, and follow up. So if you get a blow up in a spot and it's on like the edge of some grass or reeds or whatever, you get the blow up and you set the hook and miss the fish, throw in with your follow-up bait, because more than likely that fish is still there. If you didn't get any hooks in it, it's still there sitting there waiting, looking around. It's still going to be aggressive. So keep a follow-up rod if you can. If you have 2 rods and reels, tie another one up.
In real quick.
Yeah, what you got?
I want to say it's like, for me, this is the hardest thing that and honestly, nobody should listen to the advice I'm about to give, because I suck at frog
we'll just
fishing.
keep going then.
But
okay, so the next thing
is so what I
his
figured out
Walmart
I needed to start
connection.
doing is, just because it's a blow up. Oh my God, what are you talking about? Okay, anyway, so rather than trying to set a hook in a violent manner like I do normally, I need to like actually start watching, because the majority of the time I get a hit, I can see if the frog is still there. And if I'm quick enough, because you're supposed to wait a few seconds before you even try setting a hook on a frog to make sure they got it in their mouth, etc. My biggest thing is I must just be going extra blind, because I see something pop on my frog and I'm just setting the hook like I'm trying to pull a boat in that came untied from the dock. You know, it's like I need to go a little bit slower. And if I actually watch it and let the frog just sit there for an extra second and maybe just give it, even like tap the butt with my opposite hand and like give that frog just a little bit more motion, I feel like I could potentially get that fish to come back up and hit it again.
Yeah, that's like, so remember the one year I joked about it where I was saying you need to stop and say, it's showtime before you set the hook. Like that was just a joke, but yeah, like pause a couple seconds. Everybody's got their own little thing. And I've heard both sides of the argument. People say swing as hard as you can, because if the fish has it, it has it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I've heard other people say wait a couple seconds before you set the hook. But if you wait a couple seconds, sometimes they can take it down to the thick stuff and it pulls out of their mouth. Like, I go on the side of I pause for like a second or so, and if I see my line move or if I feel just a little bit of weight, I swing. But I'm like you, if I'm working on top and I see that blow up and I still see my frog, I'm not going to set the hook. If you can still see it on top, keep walking it, because chances are they're going to come back and hit it anyway.
Yeah, that's something I got to kind of like reteach myself. And like, furthermore, it's really, really hard when you get that blow up, especially when they torpedo out of the water like a great white chasing a seal. You want to set the hook and you want to catch that fish. But I've lost countless fish this year, or I haven't hooked up with countless fish this year because of my over eagerness.
Getting too excited.
Yeah.
Nick, what were you saying? You were on mute there.
I don't know why I have, but no, Dylan, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. It can be hard to catch fish on frogs, and I get too excited. You know, I hear that blow up and I'm jacking them. But I was actually talking to my buddy the other day, and I was like, I don't think make a frog that's, you know, let's not throw black frog, black on the bottom, like chartreuse on the top, so you can always see it, because I have terrible eyes. And he's like, what do you mean so you can see it? I'm like, you can see if they hit the frog. He goes, I don't even look. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, if you see a fish blow up in your frog, he just reels up, starts reeling. If he feels weight, he jacks them. And
yep.
A couple days ago, and it worked.
Yep, for sure.
Then the frog doesn't go flying right back to you, moves a couple feet.
Yep.
So
let's see. So we were going to talk about some fishing hacks, and actually the ones that we had were in relation to frog fishing. So there's a couple things you can do, Dylan. Number one, I always cut my frog leg, because most of them come like 37 inches long. I usually cut mine to like 2 inches, like the first 2 segments of my finger, about that much. That's 2 inches. Cut out, yeah, like that. That's way too long.
That's way too much leg.
Yeah, because you've got to remember when the frog's sitting there, those legs like spread out. You know, your frog's like up here, the legs are out back here. Those legs are kind of moving in the water. So I think a lot of it is if you have long legs, they're hitting any of this movement they see back here. You're shortening up the profile overall if you cut those legs down. So they're actually grabbing the body of it with the hooks, not moving legs. That's one thing you can do. Number two, if you're feeling the weight and you set the hook and you feel like you're just pulling it out, if you can get away with it, bend the hooks up a little bit. So a lot of times the hooks will be like this on the frog. Take those hook points and bend them up just above the body, just a little bit so they stick up. You have to remember, though, it's not going to be as weedless. So if you're throwing all willy-nilly inside, brush and logs, there's a chance you might get hung up. But there's that. Those are probably the two big things for me.
Debo, I know you've talked about it before, but you take your frog similar to this. So I have it normal frog, and you kind of just double it over and look to cut off this bottom section past the hook keeper. And I was doing it before I even realized I was doing it, but you said that you like to not necessarily cut it straight across. You're not looking for that perfect bowl cut. You want a little bit of a floop-de-doo, so it doesn't look unnatural per se, because the frog's not going to sit there perfectly in line with both its legs.
Yeah, I'll cut and actually I would do that. I would cut one leg shorter than the other. It actually helps it walk, so it doesn't, when you pop it doesn't want to go forward as much. It'll kick to that short side, and that's what you're really wanting to do when you walk a lure, is get it to kick off to one side, and then it will start walking a lot easier too. So that's something, if you're having trouble walking a frog, I guess that's a whole different thing you can get into, is cadence. Like, I've seen kids from the shore, not just necessarily kids, it was just a kid recently. But I mean, he was walking that frog like he was chugging it, but dude was fast. I don't know if old boy just had a slushie with 16 pixie sticks in it or what, but
it was dude
was on something. So I mean, sometimes they want it like that, but if you always work your frog the same way, Randy the other night, we were just talking about it. He kind of chugs it quick and then kills it. So and then stop. That's kind of his go-to. Whereas for me, I like to slowly walk a frog, or do a psh, 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 the quick walk, so it kind of spits, and then kill it. Kill it. And then there's sometimes where they want it slow, like a real slow, deliberate, doop, doop.
Kind of like a jerk bait.
Yeah, almost like a popper.
Yeah. It's crazy. You just gotta. You can't just assume the one type of retrieve is going to work for you. You've got to try. If you're not getting bit off your go-to retrieve, you got to try something else. There's been times where I've been, I cast it out. I'm like, okay, I'm past the strike zone, and I'm just burning it in, and I'll get a blow up next to the dock or next to the jetty or something like that. So obviously that triggers me to say, okay, well, they want it faster than what I've been going. Or like you said the other night, I was out, and this old boy came up next to me, over quite a ways, and he was popping it hard pops, where it wasn't a popping frog. It was a regular frog, but he was getting that big, that blow up kind of popper style. And I started doing that, and I actually got a couple of bites at that point in time, where it's like I was going my 3 or 4 different little pops, and I wasn't getting anything.
Yeah. Nick, what about you? What's your go-to cadence, or anything you have that helps?
Cast it out, and I pop. And if I get it, so if it's really thick, I'm doing that. And then there's let's say opening the pads, I'll stop, and then I'll walk it a couple times. And then as soon as it gets thick again, pop. So most of the time my rod's up in the air, actually.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point too. Any sorts of holes or anything that's different, try to find those spots too. So hopefully that helps, Dylan. I did see we had a couple donations come in. I want to make sure I get to those. Steve, what about the Helios SX caster though? Vid soon. Keep up the good work. I love the Helios SX. That's a little bit pricier reel from Okuma. I think it's like a 190, 199, something like that reel. Cast really nice. It does come with the bigger carbon fiber handles that I like. So far, solid here at reel. Yes, I will have a video up on that soon. So thank you for the donation, Steve. We appreciate you. And
so, Debo, I'm terrible with names and stuff. Is that the same Helios that I got? Or do I have the SX?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so I need to just say, once you get that thing dialed in, money. You have to give it a little bit of time, make sure your drag's right, the brake's right, everything's right for, the lure that you're throwing. But when you get that, I've had like throwing into some heavy 15-mile-per-hour constant wind with it, no concerns whatsoever. When other reels that I've had, I'm like, oh, I really got to thumb this. And when I hate thumbing anything, no issues. I honestly love mine.
Yeah, Randall's anti-thumb gang. Randall, use that thumb, damn it. Ray, my guy Ray with another donation. Ray, thank you, sir. Any of you guys enjoy going for catfish, or alternatively, what's your favorite fish besides bass to fish for? I'm not really a catfish guy. If there was a way to fish for catfish that wasn't just throwing a line out and sitting, like that's the only way I've ever done it. And it's just so damn boring to me. I would say pike, topwater pike is my favorite thing next to bass fishing. And there's days like where pike are hitting topwater. I would just rather do that than even try for bass. Sorry.
Okay, that's fun.
What about you guys? Nick, how about you? You've got a bunch of the gators up there.
Yeah. So I pretty much go and pike fishing because I catch them all in the same spots. Any other fishing. I mean, I got a little panfish rod I'll bring out, and the lady's kid will catch panfish, but I'm usually throwing for bass. Me and my buddy lost probably close to 40-inch pike today.
Oh, that's my dream, is to catch a 40-inch pike around here.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I showed you where to fish, Debo. You just got to catch them, man. You're not doing it. Oh, he's stubs. Whatever. He's not doing it. He's just sitting there like a good boy. Look at his tail. It's a good boy tail.
Chewing on his ball, wagging his tail, looking at me. No, I can't play with you. I don't want to lie, stubby dog.
I gotta say, I love a good ultralight crappie bite. I used to have a spot on the river, and it was right next to a roller dam underneath a bridge. And me and old Johnny used to go out there and throw like a slip bobber pegged with a walleye minnow. Sorry, Debo, I was throwing a minnow. But we would catch anything. We would catch pike, walleye, crappie, sunfish, smallmouth, largemouth, just the whole gambit of it. And honestly, it doesn't matter what size of fish you're catching. When you're throwing 4'8" ultralight rod, that's fun, man.
Everything feels fun. On a little ultralight, Actually, now that I say it, I wouldn't say it's my next favorite, but trout fishing is actually fun. Like fishing for stock trout. I know a lot of people snub their nose at it, like, oh, that's stupid. But dude, they're fun. Like on a little ultralight, and I just throw them all back. It's a ton of fun. They fight like heck. So I could only imagine catching. Oh yeah. There's some of those people that are out there catching those huge trout. If they fight like the little stock trout do, like insane. They're mean. They're mean little weird.
Like
fish.
I've just never been able to do the gentle let go into water with my trout. I love fishing for trout, and traditionally it's always been we put them in the creel to eat them later. Yeah,
they're good eating too. Oh, and Nick, speaking about good eating, I see you've been eating some pike. Pike are good eating.
Yeah, they're really good. I actually I boil them.
So weird. Never.
Are they bony? Are they a bony fish?
Yeah, you just gotta take the bones out when you clean them.
They're like the pin bones where you gotta pluck them out, right? Kinda.
No, you basically I don't know how to explain how the bone structure is, but there's a way to flay around the bones pretty much.
Yeah, the five stake method or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Debo and I will make a road trip, and we'll try some of yours. Just go catch a few, and we'll be up there in a minute.
Dude, we're down. We're gonna hopefully make it happen sometime. I was looking; it's like almost 7 hour drive, which sucks.
Just meet halfway somewhere and just fish at a random lake. Neither of us know.
Dude, that'd be fun. Or I'll just have Randy drive. I drive for more than an hour and I'm asleep. So Randy, you're driving.
But I can.
I just made a 5-hour drive today, so I'm good. Let's go.
All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? I want to try to answer some more questions. If you boys see any questions that we need to answer, let me know.
I just want to say, Tackle Junkie he made a comment earlier. Dude, come on, just send me my Guggen baits and quit harassing everybody else about them. That's all I'm going to say.
Comments.
You what?
can't see comments.
Oh, you can't see the comments? You don't have your comment thing turned
Oh,
on.
you're
not
not
because it's sideways.
You're not looking at the YouTube stream though, are you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll answer questions, or I'll ask questions that I think you'd like.
All right.
Oh, here's a good one. My guy Thomas Palmer, another huge supporter of the channel. Thomas, I think you have a Burley hat on there. I like it. I have seen him on the Burley show. Burley's another good guy. Check out his YouTube channel and stream. What do you got there, Nick? I think I already know what that is. What's your favorite combo right now? I already know this.
This is the he asked about the reel. The reel is a.
Well, you have the whole thing though, so now you have to show and tell all of it.
This is a Arc and Pro. It's just a 7-foot medium heavy, but the reel is a Daiwa Takula 100. Mon.
Do you think that is the best lightweight lightweight lure casting reel that you have too?
Yeah, but I also I throw my swim jigs on one too. You know, and those are 3/8. I think it's just overall the best reel. Like it blows my Corrado out of the water.
I think it's a very good reel. I think it's, if we're talking about getting up to like 150, I think it's like one of the best light lure casting reels that's out there too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, and I like it.
For $100, they're normally like 150.
Yeah, I think they're 150.
Yeah, I found them last year, brand new on eBay for $100.
Dang, that's a good deal.
So
the only thing I don't like,
combo?
Yeah, hold on. The only thing I don't like is the stupid little handles that Dial went to. I don't like those.
The only thing I don't mind those. I don't like the tension knob.
Oh, really? Like the zero adjuster thing?
I don't know.
What's that?
I said you got to grab your dang pliers just to turn them.
Yeah, it's a zero adjuster, so they're supposed to come straight from the factory, not be touched. Like you're supposed to not have to adjust the spool tension. So they made it like the tiny spool tension knob, and you're only supposed to use the Mag Force brakes. But I've heard the same thing from other people too, that they want the ability to change it.
It's not really a big deal, but probably don't like. I
also saw my guy Mark Fry in here. Mark, do you recognize the shirt? Stop yap and start fishing. And it's also got, where is it? Oh, damn, wrong sleeve. Got a Debo thing on it. That was from a subscribed fishing friend. Made this and sent it in. Mark, thank you. Randall, how about you? What's your favorite reel or combo if you have it? What do you want to talk about?
God, I don't. You know me, I'm terrible with this stuff. I'm gonna say the funnest.
That's a word. I allow it.
The funnest I've had is the new Shimano DC on. God, what rod did I put that on?
TP1X Black.
Yes.
Or TP1.
No,
Black?
the white one. The you know which one? I think you might have the same. God. Skip me goes. Yes. It's on an op. Man, I used to give you so much crap about your transformer reel, your robot reel. And man, I don't, half the time when I'm throwing it, I'm not even trying to catch fish. I'm just hucking it out here so I can hear the robot sounds on it, man. I love it. I don't.
So Randy's talking about the SLX DC. I hooked Randy up. I found a deal on one. Actually, a buddy sold me a couple reels. So I said, here, you got to try this because I still need to. I'm so far behind on reel and gear reviews. It's stupid. But that's been like the most requested video as far as review is the SLX DC. And I need to get that done. But I'm like, here, take this one. It's a lefty. See what you think of it. I want to know your feedbacks when I do the review. And now he's fell in love with the damn thing.
The main thing about it is you can't rest on your laurels. It's not going to be perfect every single time. It's not 100%. 99.9% of the time, you're going to be good. Just like, the majority of your casts with any other rod and reel, you should be good the majority of the time. But you can't just get lax on it. You have to make sure that you're ready to thumb it if you need to. But the majority of the time, man, you can just bomb stuff out there and
it's a good reel. It's a good reel.
It's fun.
Gosh, my favorite this year. I don't know that I could say one is my favorite.
What's the what's your blue rod? Is that the
frog rod.
Okuma Ceros or whatever.
So yeah, the Okuma Serrano with the Okuma Komodo on it is my frog combo this year. I've used the heck out of that one.
You've used that a lot.
I've used it a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a solid combo. Komodo's a little bit heavier. It's a bigger 200 size reel, which means the reel and spool is a little bit bigger. So like Nick was talking about the Tatula 100, so it's a little bit smaller reel. Komodo's a little bit bigger, heavier, but it is an aluminum frame and an aluminum handle side plate. So like for frogging and stuff, anything where you've got lures that have a bunch of drag, anything where you can start to get, what's the right word I'm looking for? Flex in that handle side plate, or if you're throwing bigger lures, or if you're going to be catching bigger fish, which obviously I'm not afraid of that. But any of those sort of things, it's great to have that aluminum side plate. The Daiwa Tatula, actually, like Nick's talking about, the Daiwa Tatula 200, which is kind of the bigger brother of the 100. Awesome reel. I like that reel a ton too, and it has the aluminum frame and aluminum handle side plate.
Debo, I totally thought you were going to say, you can bump up, if you're catching bigger fish. And then you said, I'm not afraid of that. I was so ready for you to say, I don't do that.
Well, that's what I meant. I'm not afraid of that because I'm not catching anything big is what I was saying. Yeah. I'm not afraid of that because, well, I'm not going to catch anything that would be big enough to bend.
You're ridiculous. You catch big fish. Shut up.
Let's see. What else do we got? Dizzle, do you have any good questions in there? You see, what do you got, folks? Oh, we need to do the giveaway too. How are we going to pick a giveaway winner? Nick, I'm throwing the ball to you. How are we picking a giveaway winner? Should it be a question, trivia question?
Color boxers I'm wearing.
Okay, what was it?
You have to guess what color boxers I'm wearing.
You're probably not wearing any, and it's a trick question.
I was just gonna say, is that an option?
Just do pick a number.
How many people are in the in right now?
We have almost 200 people in. Let's get it over 200. Invite your friends, invite your family. We get it back over 200. As soon as we hit 200, I will do the giveaway. And we will do, it's going to be pick a number between 1 and I don't know something. Nick has to pick the number. We got to get over 200 though. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite everybody that you know, get people on, hit 200, and then we're doing it. Until then, we're going to hit a question real quick. I'll still do the giveaway anyway. I just want to see if we can get to 200 here quick. Let's see. Dylan was asking a question. James says, are the boxers brown from stains? Hey, there could be some skid marks. Who knows?
Don't judge. It can get hot around Wisconsin, Iowa area.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little sketchy and you think it's a fart and you get a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Sometimes, okay.
Okay, let's see. I asked people to get it up to 200. Now we dropped to like 180. All right, we're going the wrong direction. Let's pick a winner. Let's see. Pick a number between 1 and 50, Nick. Well, that's not going to work. You can't see comments, so you can't pick the first one on your screen.
I can see him. We can do it.
Yeah, but I don't know what his number is.
An independent third. Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? Damn it.
Let's see. Let's do. Man, we should have thought of this. I should have done a random roulette wheel. Let's do what? Okay, maybe people saw it earlier. What color collar does Mr. Stubby Stubbs, my dog, have on right now? You guess the first person on my screen to guess it.
I know.
Gets a care package from Debo. What color is Mr. Stubby Dog's collar? Okay, so while we're doing that,
fishing southwest or fishing the southeast. I think he hit it. It was the first one I saw. Red.
Oh my gosh, he did! That can't work. Fishing the Southeast is already won. Fishing the Southeast, I'll get you your own care package. You're a loyal supporter. Next I have in line was Frank Cornacchia. So I'll do 2 packages. Fishing the Southeast because you're always on supporting me, but I can't just let it be you. You and Frank. So both you, Fishing the Southeast, I already know your stuff. Hit me up again. Frank, if you're still on, hit me up on Instagram. And if you guys don't believe me, I did show you earlier.
Mr. Stubb.
It's red, trust me. Red was the correct answer.
Where'd he go?
Okay, so what else do we have? Let's get into some more fishing questions.
That look he just gave you.
I know. Did you see him back there? Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you gentlemen hit me up. I'll do the giveaway stuff to you all. Let's answer a couple questions. Let's each answer a question here, and then we'll get after it. So everybody ask a question right now. Ask a question. We're going to try to get to each of us do a question, then we'll hop off live. I know it's already kind of late. We started a little bit later, so I won't go super late.
Alejandro said it's gone past something that you should make me do the gear reviews. It's not a question, it's more of a statement, and I don't know how to PCly say this. Like, it wouldn't be good. I'd be like, here, you put your thumb down and you go bing, and then you reel it in, and that's basically what my gear reviews would be. Or
so it could lack some of the technical aspects.
Yes. See, I don't do that technical stuff. I just, kind of.
I'm the same.
Simpler man.
Nick, what do you got? Any fun questions you want to talk about? Any interesting things that you've thought about that you wanted to ask or talk about on stream? What do you got? We want to hear more from you, Nick. You're a loyal, supporting Fish and friend. Have you had fun being on the show?
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Good.
I like it. This is a question I was wondering on your last live. What are your guys' summer fishing goals?
My summer fishing goal every year is catch as many frogfish as I can. Honestly, just to get out and fish as much as I can. I'm juggling, full-time job, kids, trying to do the YouTube stuff, lures. So honestly, for me, it's just try to get out as much as I can, even if I don't feel like it. There's my days where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go. Dizzle's like, meet me here. We're going. Okay.
For me, I haven't traditionally had the luck of the pre-spawn monsters. Usually I'm catching my bigger fish post spawn, and it seems like dead of the summer and very unopportune times. So it's been I didn't catch a 5 at all last year, and Debo caught like 87 6s and 12 9s and whatever he caught. He's blown me out of the water on big fish, and he's caught way bigger fish than me so far this year. But I wanna hook a solid 5 and potentially look at breaking a PB, which would be, I'll just call it 6 would break my PB. And I think we've been to a few spots so far this year, Debo, where we've seen some big ends that I think it's kind of doable if we
for sure doable
if we can get out there and do it,
For sure doable. Okay, one clean bass. This is a good one. A Wacky rig or Texas rig? So I have had both tied on. I've had luck on both. For me, I think it was it Thomas that was asking, how do you fish when it's super hot? There was days where I was going out where it was super hot out. I was throwing moving baits. I wasn't getting any bites. I started flipping and pitching that Wacky rig around stuff. Boom, boom, boom. One of the days, Brando and I were out. I was throwing a Wacky rig, caught some good solid fish. Every fish that he was catching was pretty much bigger than mine on a Texas rig crawl. So I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong answer. You can fish them in a lot of the same places. I think for me, it comes down to, do I need it to be really weedless, or do I want it to be kind of a slow falling, methodical presentation? Because if I need it to be weedless, I'm going to throw like a weighted Texas rig, or like even a weightless Texas rig stick bait. And maybe that's what he was getting after, was like a Wacky rig stick bait versus a Texas rig stick bait.
Can you Wacky a Texas rig? Or Texas a Wacky rig?
Well, it wouldn't be a Texas rig then if it was Wacky rig.
Technically, yeah. But wouldn't a Wacky Texas rig essentially be like a weighted Wacky rig, essentially?
No, because
you know what I mean?
the Wacky rig, it would still be a hook in the middle of the bait.
Right.
But you could do so you're just saying like put a bullet weight at the top of it and just use like a regular hook.
Or like one of the jig, almost like a Nico head, like a weedless Nico, but with a weighted like jig head to it versus just the Nico hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would just be a weighted Wacky rig then.
Actually,
potato.
A couple, like a month ago, I don't want to. I'm probably going to be incorrect here. Whoever won the Bassmaster or was close to winning the Bassmaster Elites, that Jason Christie won, he was throwing it was a worm. It was a worm, and then it had a third appendage that he Texas rigged. So it almost looked like
a Texas rigged wacky rig.
Yeah, it was like
really.
It was
that's interesting.
Worm, and then there was another appendage right here that he would Texas rig that, and then it still had the wacky part. And you can buy them. I can't remember what they were, but
dude, you nailed it. That's exactly what a Texas rigged wacky rig would have to be.
Yeah.
What Randizzle was explaining was just a weighted wacky rig.
Yeah.
So
I was trying to be funny for a second, but yeah, no, whatever you were saying I don't even know how to think about that.
So here's an interesting thought. What if you take a weedless wacky hook like Randy was talking about, the Nico, like a Nico hook that's got the two like weed guard deals? You hook that into it so it's like this, sticking up. Your weed guard would be here, so it would fall this way, and you put like a little bullet weight on it, not pegged. So it'd be like a wacky rig with a little bullet weight that would fall down, then your wacky rig would like be here.
Is this the meeting that the same guys that are like, hey, I got this treble hook, let's throw a spinner bait on here? I think yes. That just this is all patent pending. I've called the patent office. Anybody takes this, you're in trouble.
Dude, are we fishing tomorrow? If we're fishing tomorrow morning, I might have to rig up the Randizzle rig, and it's going to be a free weighted wacky rig with a Texas rig bullet weight that can fall down, but it's got a wacky rig behind it.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's go. Let's do it.
Or what you could do, Randy, when you were talking about mend it, is you could just take like half of a stick bait, mend it direct middle of a full-size stick bait, and Texas rig that so it's completely weedless.
Yeah, that's basically what you're like kind of describing, right?
Yeah, they actually make that worm like completely, but you could make one yourself. I actually thought about doing that. Yeah.
This video is not sponsored by Mendit. However, Randy would like to be sponsored by Mendit.
I love Mendit. Well, Debo, if you were to fish a little, maybe let's say about an hour north of where you fish right now, and you throw all your frogs and run into as many pikes as what I do.
Hey, we have pike down here too. I just don't let them hit my lure. I'm better about it than you.
Oh my god! Oh,
you
my
got
mom's
a ton
calling.
of pike.
I gotta go.
But
no, he's joking.
But I've never had a pike tear up my frog or.
What?
Really?
They'll eat it, but I don't think I've ever broke a frog.
Are you?
Dude, that's crazy. I've sacrificed I don't know how many frogs. Literally, I'll have one pike blow up on a frog, and it looks like Edward Scissorhands tried to grab my frog.
Hey, how much time we got left?
I don't know. We're at an hour. We're still talking. Go for it. We got 187.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay. Bye. So we're gonna get to another question. Randizzle's gonna go, I don't know, grab something for show and tell. Here's a good one. Bass Fishing Bandit. What's your overall bait for dark and clear water? If you could only, I'm guessing, only have one. Yeah. What do you got, Nick? What do you go to if you've got? Because I'm assuming you fish kind of different lakes up there, kind of like here.
Yeah, we got clear and pretty dark around here. I would see lately. I threw black and blue the other day on a clear lake and I caught him.
Dude, it does. You don't have to sell me.
So I think if they said, hey, you can only pick one, the rest are going to disappear, I'd probably have to pick black and blue. Just because apparently it works in clear water too. But I've never had luck with green pumpkin in dark water.
Really? See, that's where I would say, like, dude, I can throw green pumpkin in dirty water. Not like super muddy. I wouldn't feel real comfortable, but as long as it's not like, as long as you got a couple feet visibility, I'll throw green pumpkin anywhere. Especially if you have like a little bit of chartreuse, like highlighter, dip it, spike it, on there. Yeah. What about bait? So, like, do you have a favorite bait for the really clear water versus the dark water?
For like clear water, I pretty much throw the same thing, but different colors. Like a bluegill swim jig and natural crop presentations, green pumpkin-y.
You are a swim jig thrower, and you make some awesome swim jigs. Thank you too for the swim jigs you've sent me. Folks have seen me throw those on my channel. Have I thrown one this year? I don't think so. This year, I threw something you sent me. What was it? Spinnerbait. Oh, it's the spinnerbait that you sent me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold up.
Good. Yeah, good, dude.
Okay. I made one for a buddy and he lost a blade right away. So I don't know if my swivels or my split rings are not that great, but I haven't had any problems myself.
Yeah, dude, that's all part of. So I sent some of my jigs to multiple different people. One of my buddies, Finn the Fisherman, good supporter of my channel, gave me some good, hard, honest feedback. He had one hook bend out. He had some other things. And dude, that's part of the process. You have to be willing to accept that kind of stuff if you're going to get better. Because like we've all been around the people and companies that, you know, don't want to go into any of that. I've had firsthand experience with that, and I don't want any part of that. If the companies that tell me it's already good enough, you're the problem. Nah.
Yeah, no.
Nope. You know, it comes with limitations. Like I was telling him, like it's a mold that I have, so you can only use a certain wire hook. I can't put a heavier wire hook on it. So then you start looking at, like you and I were talking about, getting those finesse ball jigs with a, what do you call it? A modified mold like you have that accepts the heavier hook.
I actually just took a drill to mine.
Oh, you did? You did it yourself?
Yeah.
I need to do that.
All head, but on my Arky flipping or my Arky jig mold. You're supposed to use a Dremel, but I just took a drill bit and ran it the long way. You got to make the eye, the hook eye a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And the actual channel start really small though.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You can always take more off. You can't put it back.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I put those Mustad 3297 whatever, the heavier flipping hooks on my jig.
Yeah, I need to look at that. I need to buy another ball head combo like that and try to get some bigger hooks in.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps, Bass Fishing Ben. I guess I didn't give mine. It depends on like what kind of bite, because we can go topwater, like bottom. I would say for me, green pumpkin is is my favorite overall color, no matter what. Baits, yeah. I mean, like I couldn't even start. It would depend on what we're fishing, how we're fishing, but.
Oh, he said baits. I didn't even look at that. I thought he said color.
Yeah, overall bait. But no, I think that's a good place to start. Let's see. I don't know what Randall's doing.
It answers question real quick. A spinnerbait.
Yes, it's funny. We share both the same. You like to frog fish. I like to frog fish. Both of us are extremely confident with spinnerbaits. Same. Yep. Let's see. What else do we have? Tips for deep. I am country strong. I am not the guy to answer that. Tips for deep water football jigging. Do you do deep water football jigs?
No, not at all.
I've thrown football jigs and stuff, so it's usually a thing like if you're dragging, I will drag a jig off a point, not necessarily a football jig. Like football jigs, you have to have the right lake for it, because a football jig is really meant to be like you're talking about, drug on the bottom. And a lot of the places we have around here are the bigger chunk rock that goes all the way off that drop off, because a lot of them are man-made around here. They could be cutoffs of the river. But you have to have a solid bottom, kind of that gravelly bottom, to be able to actually drag a football jig, because that's what you're doing. It's kind of like when I would drag a Carolina rig, like same deal. You get those fish that are suspended off. You've got like either a big drop off or a creek channel, like is what me and Dad would fish a lot. And he'd throw that worm, we'd be working that creek channel, and a lot of ours are flooded forests. So you've got all those trees that are on the other end of that creek channel. So you have to keep, think about what it looked like before. You've got a creek channel that goes up like this, and all those trees would have been growing on the edge of the creek channel, right? So you'll have a whole bunch of trees on the edges of that, and then just past that, it's going to drop down into that creek channel. So we'd fish like worms. Dad would throw that Texas rig tequila sunrise worm, and we'd fish those trees on the edge of that creek channel. Other guys would be throwing jigs and dragging in that. I threw Carolina rigs, fishing ponds and stuff like that around here. But kind of the same thing with a football jig. You have to have the kind of landscape where you can drag that jig. Otherwise, I would say just play with it, dude. If you're out and you have a bunch of different points like that, electronics are going to help. I am not an electronics guru, but if you can at least see how deep it is, where it is, try digging that point, dragging that jig on that point, and try different points. Try to find similarities. Were they in the middle of it? Were they on the bottom of it? Were they, whatever it is, try to find those similarities and put that together in different spots on the lake. Try to replicate that. Dizzle, what'd you get? Did you go grab something for show and tell? We can't hear you. Are you muted?
I was muted.
Okay.
I muted it. I was saying the what are they? The wobble heads.
Yep.
You know, it's got like a football head with just the EWG hooked up to it. I've thrown those a lot during like real cold weather, and they just seem to like flatter a little bit better. But you were talking about tips earlier, hacks. One thing I did want to bring up, and this wasn't exactly what I ran out to get, but were these.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The lunker hunts with these stupid legs. The thing about these is I love the frog. I hate the legs. Hate the legs. They are probably the worst ever. I don't know why you would ever want these on a frog ever.
Dude, some people love them. Some people love the legs. You
showed me at one time.
You can take them off and put a skirt through it.
I don't know. Yeah, that was like when we one of the first times we really got kind of back into it and frogfish and things like that. You were like, oh, you got to take them and you got to like squeeze at the point until you feel like a snap. I just did it.
Yeah, they have like glue that holds it on. You can take those legs off there. All it is a little rubber deal that goes in and they glued it. So you can pull the legs off and then, yeah, like Nick was saying, we've modified those by just putting like a spinnerbait skirt or any sort of, skirting material through. And that's really all the legs are.
That's one of my one of my favorite frogs that I still have somehow is a lunker hunt that you like showed me how to rip the legs off of and throw that in there. I was also looking for a frog and didn't really find one per se because I don't know where the good one is. But if you guys can see,
oh, hey, hold on,
like the bottom, how to do this.
Boom.
Yeah. So like I'll try to. Oh wait. Yeah. So like if you can see in there, it's kind of chewed up, and I don't know how anybody would catch a pike frog and not just get the bottom ripped up. So like you can see up around the nose is like really kind of there we go. It's really kind of tore up around the nose and the mouth. Like, again, not sponsored by Mending in any way, but I will take and put a real heavy layer of Mending on there, let it set for half hour, 45 minutes, or whenever I come back to it, throw another set on there. And Debo, what kind of frogs were these with the little rattle in the eyes?
Kalen's rattling frog.
So like I started throwing this, and I would say within the first 2 or 3 casts, this rattle was about to fall out. So I did basically the same thing. I threw some Mending in there. It's just like a, for those guys that have wives or, whatever, fingernail polish painter thing. Just put it in there, got a good layer on the inside and kind of slid it in and then did Mending all around it. And this thing looks super solid. So Mending, if you're listening, hit me up.
Send Rando's little 5-gallon jug of it. Yeah, this is, so if anybody's watching, hold on, I think I can make it bigger. Solo, boom. So what Randy is saying is, so this is a pike I caught the other day. Look at those chompers. Which way do I go here? Look at the chompers on that thing, dude.
Yeah, see, it's not that easy.
Yeah, they shred. That's why I think it's funny that you've never had one shred a frog, dude.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really catch pike on frogs that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I love frogs, but
so when we run into them, go ahead.
If I can get away with not throwing a frog, I probably won't. But I love it. But if I can get a swim jig or something else in there, I'm going to do that.
So what's your favorite? Like, what's your favorite thing to throw if you can only throw one?
A swim jig.
Swim jig.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can swim any jig and you can jig any jig and you can pop any jigs are versatile, way better than frogs.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Debo.
Yes, Randall. What else you got over there, Randall? You got any show and tell?
So the other cool thing is I've struggled is an understatement on actually hooking up with a frogfish. So the other night I told you I was doing that real hard pop really hard. and I had a fish bite it. Don't know what it was. Was it a bass? Was it a pike? I don't know. But I set the hook and it was still there. And I was like, oh, would the fish stay on the hooks when you set them? What's going on here? But I got into some lily pads or something and he spit it. So I'm pulling it in and I'm like, man, that just doesn't look, I don't think I pulled any lily pads up by the roots. What's going on? I did happen to catch this guy. It's a scum frog, I believe. I don't think it's a tournament edition. But the crazy thing is this was still tied on with, I can't really tell braid, you know, like diameters or poundage or anything like that. But it was definitely a lighter braid than what I was throwing. And I was throwing 65-pound braid. And this seemed much, much, much lighter. And there was a good amount, maybe 1.5 feet of line still left on it. But hey, I may have ruined a frog by whatever this fish was, but I got this frog in
That's
return,
funny. So what Randy's saying, I don't think you mentioned it. So Randy felt the tension. He set the hook, and that frog was in that fish's mouth. So he set the hook and pulled that frog out of that fish's mouth with it still attached. How crazy is that, dude?
Dang.
He caught a frog, pulled it out.
I think the crazier. I think the craziest thing about it is I have to assume that it was kind of in there for a while because it was, I think it was a pike because a lot of slime was still on the frog, but I don't know if pikes' mouths are slimy on the inside or not, but
I don't know. Lip the next one.
The
we'll
frog
see.
was very slimy when Let me get my turkey gloves on first.
Oh my God! Shut up. Okay, let's see. Let's do one more question. Nick, do you have? Oh, you can't see. Do you have any more questions for us? Any fun questions that you want to share with all the fishing friends watching? Anything?
Not really. I wasn't really prepared coming into this for questions.
Dude, there's no prepared needed. We're just here talking fishing. That's the fun part of the lives is there's no script.
I do have one thing that I know I've heard you talk about a lot, but I've been getting into the weightless wacky rig lately. And I only got one spinning rod right now out of all my rods. So I want to get another one. And I don't know, what does everybody use for like length and stuff like that for their wacky rig, weightless? I was thinking.
Let me just jump in real quick, Debo. I don't use a spinning rod the majority of times on my wacky rigged like Cinco worms. I'll use a really easy casting bait caster. Like shorter, maybe 6'6", 6'9", somewhere around there. And it just seems to be, I feel more comfortable with it.
Yeah, like I'm a big 7-ish to 7'2", 7'3", medium power, fast action. And I'm always going usually 15-pound braid to 8 to 12-pound fluoroliter. Yeah. That's my go-to. My biggest thing is like the Nico hook. Using that like Nico-ish type hook instead of, I don't know if you and I have talked about that, but like the weedless wacky hooks.
I actually started using that hook that you use from your videos. I love it.
Yeah, dude. It's changed my wacky game. Like I've used, I don't have any of them here, but anybody who's seen them knows what I'm talking about. They're like the round weedless wacky hooks.
It's not weed, it's the same hook. Just
the Nico hook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, dude, money. Here, hold it up again.
Was it VCM?
VMC?
VMC,
Boom.
Yeah.
There.
Wacky. I dig it. Yeah, I've just like those weedless wackies. It might just completely be a confidence thing, but I am 100% sold that those weedless wacky hooks don't have anywhere near the hookup ratio as those Nico hooks.
Pick up some of those weedless ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking like getting like a 6'10" medium. I don't know why. I just feel like that's what I should get. So I was wondering if anybody else uses that short.
I think that's kind of, let's see if anybody else is saying. People are talking about some of the reels. I see a lot of people saying Daiwa 2500. I like a 3000 size. Again, that just depends on the person. Thomas said, "Hey, Randy, that's a gear review. Congrats." I guess on the frog stuff. I don't know. So Matt Rosen.
No, I said about the Never mind.
Oh, about the Wacky rig. Yeah. Sorry. Matt said 6'6" spinning for Wacky.
Yeah.
I like a 7 foot. Yeah, it depends on who. Like the little B said, I use a 7 foot medium light. Some people are saying like that's too short for them, like a 6'6". I mean, not a right answer.
It probably doesn't really make that much of a difference. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
It's
Let's
what
see.
you
All
kinda
right. Let's
feel
do
comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm going to pick one more question and then we're done. That's it. So let's go through. I'm
Oh.
gonna pick.
While you're
Oh,
looking, Daniel Lee, just reading the word trocar makes me scared. I have trocar frog hooks, and I put them away in a special box that I never touch because I don't want to dig my hand in there and lose a finger.
Okay. Flapjacks and syrup. Or flapjacks and syrup. Good Lord. Hey, Debo, do you have any tips for when it's midday, hot and bluebird skies, and water is a bit stained? So Randy and I joke about this because we always talk about, dude, it would be so awesome to go out fishing today, perfect conditions. Then when we actually go out to fish, it's usually crappy, bluebird skies. So for me, the biggest thing I've found when you're fishing high sky, middle of the day, sun's up, fish are going to be super tight to cover, and they're usually not willing to come out chasing stuff. So like where I might be covering water, if it's like looking like it's going to rain, cloudy, early in the day or real late in the day, you can use things to cover water. Fish are going to be more aggressive, right? If you're fishing midday, there's not any clouds, which means it's going to be real bright. I'm talking largemouth here. Real bright. Fish are usually going to be on stuff or in stuff because they want to feel comfortable. So they want to be, in shade lines, tucked away in the grass lines, under stuff, under docks, under pilings, any of that type of stuff. Big pieces of, brush, and not just flipping to the outside of the brush, getting with like a foot in of it. I'm talking about getting that in the heart of the brush where it looks dirty, grimy. Oh, I might break off. That's where you need to get. So I would say any of those places where that fish can.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think the first 5-pound bass I ever caught was on a super small chatterbait. I remember I cast it. It was like a sidearm, half skipped it on a spinning rod, and it took one skip and hit the bank, and it was like kind of stuck on the bank, and I pulled it off of the bank, and it was, trees overhanging the water. It was a rocky shore. Threw it in there, skipped once, hit the bank, pulled it off the bank, and clobbered it. It was a 1 in a million, cast that I never intended on making. It was just, stupid coincidence that I actually got it up in there. And it was really, really tight. Just like Debo said, that spot that you think if you cast it, there's a better than 0% chance that you're either going to break off or you're going to lose it, snag, whatever. But that's where the big uns like to hide,
I need a shirt that says that, better than 0% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the gnarly stuff. How about you? What about you, Nick? It's midday. You get out on the boat, bluebird skies. What are you doing to find fish?
Going fast. I shouldn't, but that's what I do.
Covering water.
Whenever the fishing's slow, I tend to speed up when I know I shouldn't. But I don't know, man.
Another big thing. Go ahead.
I find wood and I pitch to wood.
Yes. Find wood, pitch to wood. I was going to say with those swim jigs, another big thing is find grass. If you find grass, you find the bass, right? So like if it's a lake, we have lakes around here that are all grass. So it's like, it's hard to say that, but there's some lakes that are only going to have pockets of grass or certain spots with, good green living grass. And a lot of places, if you can find that grass, it's going to be more oxygenated. If you can find water, it's a little bit cooler. So like right now, the other day, before we had like our little cold spell, I got out, took my John butt out to a little lake here, and it was like 91 degrees water temp when we launched, like roasting. And we moved around and looked, and I found some water that was like 85 degrees. But yeah, try to find that cooler water. So that might be like a creek channel inlet. Anywhere there's running water is going to have better oxygen, usually going to be a little bit cooler. And places that you can find that good green grass, living grass, if you've got like sparse little spots of that, usually is always going to hold fish too.
Yeah. Yeah, like you guys said, like tight to cover, stuff like that is just what I do.
I do what I do, and you just catch them.
And then if all else fails, just do something totally random. Like last year about this time when we went out and took your dad's boat, we were throwing those big pencil baits on topwater literally all day long and catching bass on topwater.
That's coming up. I need
Like
to
just
talk to
being
you about
aware
that.
of what's going on around you. Yeah, for sure, definitely. I was actually going to ask you about that too, but watching your surroundings, watching the water, even if it's like a little bluegill coming up and sucking down, bugs on top water, or if you're looking up and seeing birds kind of circling around you just got to look for the little things in addition to, the grass underwater, the logs underwater, the sticks underwater, something different. That's not just plain Jane. There's the shore, there's a drop off, stuff like that.
Yeah, like TJ Ellis was talking about midday and it's hot. I love to fish overhanging trees. Yep, overhanging trees are going to create a big shade canopy for that fish, right? So you've got, the tree coming out over the water. All under that's going to be essentially like an umbrella, for that fish to hide under. It's all going to be dark, and they can sit in there and ambush. And that's where I was catching my fish today, actually on the buzzbait. Was fish were sitting on little irregularities, little pieces of overhanging trees or anything different like that where they can hide under. So it just depends on your lake. It's hard to say all in one, but
now that I think about it, I caught my PB when it was midday, hot, bluebird skies, and I remembered once I saw a video of somebody flipping like pads like into the lily pads, and I've been doing that lately when it's really hot out and sunny and stuff like that, like finding thick pads and taking like a half-ounce weight and flipping into them. I've been doing pretty good. So
yeah. And the thing that we look at that and think, oh, that's just a big garbled up mess. But depending on the vegetation, if it's just pads, you have to remember those pads are just on top and it's just stems that come down, right? So they've literally got a huge umbrella over them with just little tiny stems that they can sit, weave through. It's not like it's all matted underneath it where it's just one thick, unless you've got other vegetation with it. But yeah, pads are a perfect place to, sit in there and be out of the sun. And yeah, absolutely good point, dude. All right. Well, I think we are at an hour and a half. Boys, we're going to call it. This was a super fun time. Fat Boy Fishing on Instagram. What do you have to say, Nick? What's your closing statement?
Appreciate you having me on. This was awesome. And man, I don't know. I ain't good at talking.
Dude, it was a ton of fun. Yeah. So, Nick, you've always been a supporter.
You've done a great job, man.
Yeah, as long as I can remember. I just want to say thanks to you. It does mean a lot. I'm going to try to do this with some more folks, people who support me all the time. It means a lot. So yeah, dude, thanks for hopping on.
Hey,
you're a good cat. Randall, good having you back, but I think we're going to call it.
All right.
All right. Thanks for watching, Fishing Friends, and until next live.